This video is brought to you by Goldbug Asia. Focus on your education, be keen on your investments, and invest in your future. Goldbug Asia. Be avid, buy smart.
Hi YouTube, I want to make a video about whether or not you should be investing in coins or bars. And specifically, let's make this video about gold coins and gold bars. Here's a bar and here's a coin. So I want to talk about my top 7 reasons. And I'll put kind of a text description over the video. So the top 7 reasons why people would buy coins on bars. I mean, there's many reasons, but I would say here are the top 7 for me, and I'll talk about why I invest in either the bars or coins. Now, as you can tell by in the video, I intentionally use these props, or you can call fakes, as I'll be making another video about my experience with fakes and how do you detect between real and fake ones. But jumping straight into the topic of this video is coins on bars. So my summary is I invest coins in general unless you have designated channel to sell your bars. And also in my cases, I prefer sheet maple, so maple in sheets, 1 ounce maples in sheets. But I also store RCM bars by location. So let's talk about what I'm talking about here, and then come back to the same summary. So first of all, number one thing that's most important to me is lowest susceptibility for counterfeit. Secondly is liquidity, ease of sales. Third, brand recognition, being able to sell or bargain during crisis. Fourth, custom fees, concerns for international transport. Fifth, privacy when buying and selling. 6, stackability, storage. And 7, lowest premium over spot. Or lower premium over spot. So in summary, that's why most of my choices are in coins and minimal over bars. But I do have some bars. Because as I mentioned that in general depends on exactly where you are. Okay, so but let's touch a little bit more details. So first of all, lower susceptibility, you see also my factors and note section. In general, in fact, the counterfeit, the bigger the brand, the more likely you will see counterfeit. As you can see, like I intentionally brought this RCM bar. Even the back looks very much like a real RCM bar. If you are familiar with it, the middle symbol is a little bit different for the non-counterfeit real ones. I don't have one beside me since I don't keep physicals at home. But in the front, very same, except probably doesn't have engraved numbers. But it will probably be easy enough to engrave a number on here, right? Just a random number. But I think the main distinction is the centerpiece, a little bit different on the real ones. Again, it's kind of like inverse of branding. Although you want to get the branding in order for you to have the liquidity, but again, it's kind of like an inverse function. Now, I do want to mention that the essays, if you have ones that comes with essays, usually they're $3 more. For any sleeve, they're usually $1 more. I prefer not to get essays because it's just a piece of plastic. It's actually harder for you to if it actually has a plastic, you probably want to break it out of it anyways. In terms of when it hits crisis, I know in the North America and the US they tend to like to taking the ones with essays, but I mean for me I am very wary, right? So I don't like to be having the essays because I worry because a piece of plastic, if you just look at all the essays, it very simply can be counterfeited in Asia. So I actually don't like essays, so I wouldn't, that's the only reason I don't buy ones with essay. And first of all, it's also a few dollars more. I don't see a point. I do buy them in sleeve, as you see my other video, because with the sleeves, I'm able to sell it to my channel much easier at above spot. So I do get a sleeve, and ideally I get it in sheets. A second point here is liquidity and ease of use. I think the major factor here is whether or not what are the brand and what are the mint. What I mean by mint is obviously like someone like RCM, the Maples is well recognized, so it's easy to sell in many different channels. Brands, I think this is by location as well. If you have gold, even it could be gold jewelry. If it's branded with like Zhao Shensen or Cao Tai Feng, or many other brands in Asia, you can easily sell it back to them. So it's very liquid. Gold has channels there. But I think in North America it might be a little bit different because those brands are not as well recognized. If you just bring gold to gold shops, they probably give you quite a bit under the spot price for those. But in general, I think look at the brand and the mint. So typically, I do go for the lower premium ones such as Maple. And brand recognition in terms of I think this piece is really dependent on who and when. In terms of when you have a crisis, right? Because brand recognition is not going to be a problem when you're just going to be selling to the banks. They will like this major store. They know how to look at to determine if they have equipment to be able to look at it. Not a video about what are the equipments I'll make in terms of how people will be able to recognize if it's legitimate gold or silver. But I think when the crisis hit, first of all, if I get a piece of gold, I think the best test is I would actually bite into it to see if it's soft enough. Again, more reason to get 0.9999 gold. I think that's how people really recognize it because with so much counterfeit out there, that's going to be a real worry, right? Obviously, when I buy, I always try to buy the latest year. And again, why I prefer Maple? Because Maple have the best counterfeit technology. Look at every year they're coming up with new technology. Either with the lines this past year, with the the laser engraved numbers. The previous year, the smaller Maple symbol. So year to year, they really improve. So I think that's another reason I prefer Maple. But if you're trying to sell a coin that's made, let's just say, many years ago, you're not gonna know in terms of if it's real or not, except probably biting into it, right? There's a few other tests I can talk about, but it does take some time to measure it, right? So I won't go into that in this video. And next is custom fees. I think a big portion is where from. My hometown is in Canada, so I'm able to bring into exit. I'm based in Hong Kong, so leaving Hong Kong there's no restrictions. So, but usually when I bring into a country, do check on the import restriction. In my case, because right now the regulation essentially is stay within the cash value of the face value of the coin. So obviously, if you have a bar, it's less easy to be able to go by the face value because there's no face value. So you might have to declare as is. But luckily, also Canadian have no restriction if you read the rules in terms of bringing in fine silver and gold. There is no tax duty on top of that. So I would declare both the maximum face value, and I'll declare the value of the precious metal. But knowing that there is no import tax on fine gold and fine silver. So again, check for export and import to that country. Privacy when buying, I think it really depends on where you are. I don't have that issue really in Hong Kong. But in general, coin is like a legal tender, so it's like cash. So why would there even be a privacy issue about it for having coin? So again, I would prefer using coin because there shouldn't even be a privacy issue. Lastly, I'm talking about bar stackability and storage. Yes, for silvers probably, but unless you have to have a lot of money, gold are quite highly valued. I doubt you'll have issues stacking gold. So like, I have so much gold, I don't know where to stack it, right? So I think that's not an issue unless you're wealthy, super wealthy, rich. Lastly, premium or spot. So usually I'm looking at bars which are usually like $20 less. So the only reason I would, again, I'll come back to my summary, which is I have most of my stuff in sheets of Maple, but I also store some RCM bar. Because for me, I store some bars in RCM because I know I can sell them straight back to where who I bought it from. In this case, I do buy quite a bit of them from Keiko, so I'm able to sell back to them. Anyway, so that's the summary of my video here. I hope you like it. Please press like, share, and join my channel. Thank you. Have a good day.